Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my baby.
True, it's a finger-picking song. Cliff Gallup played it all. He did it like this. And like this. And like this. And we are going to go through it all. So stop asking that ChatGPT about how to achieve that Cliff Gallup's tone. Pick up your guitar, put your finger picks on, and let's get going. Okay, first solo. It starts with triplet, where notes are grouped by 2, or maybe by 4. Something like this. So, and we have 4 such groupings. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a bend that I counter with the Bigsby. So, unlike a normal bend, when you push a little bit on your Bigsby arm, it gets sort of immediate Cliff Gallup's vibe. And now watch my right hand. I'm pretty confident Cliff Gallup, although of course you can play it just with the pick. I'm pretty confident Cliff did it with his fingers. And once again, attention to the pinky, which I keep on the Bigsby constantly so that it's pretty comfortable for me to push on it a little bit and to get that subtle vibrato. 2, 3, 4. And then the next lick. You can see how I'm using my fingers to pick these chords. Bigsby. And the thing is, if you play it with your fingers, you kind of pick all 3 notes of these chords almost simultaneously. And also, as you are using your fingers and not strumming, controlling Bigsby gets easier. And by the way, left hand. So here I'm playing this kind of chord and adding a double stop. And the next lick. A couple of important details. First of all, these bends, they are kind of quick and goes straight to the note. Not like this, but like this. And this last band on third string, you've heard a bit of open second string, and that was not an accident. So I really try to play it like this because I have a feeling that it was also on the recording, so Cliff Gallup was not 100% precise, and that's also kind of a part of his vibe. And then the next lick, starting from the very same note on third string. Here I'm playing a quick hammer on and then a quick slide. What about rhythm of these bands? I will play the same without bending, and it will sound like this. And now with bending. And the next lick. Sorry. Once again, first of all, left hand. Simple major chord, E major chord here on 12th fret, first three strings. And now watch my right hand. Finger picking and Bigsby. 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 Finger picking. Again Bigsby with a slide. And the final lick of the solo. Left hand for the same. And now it's time to recap and play the whole solo. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. And that was relatively straightforward. However, the second solo is full of surprises. So, surprise! Many of us would play the beginning of the solo like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. But in reality, what did Cliff do? He was really using Travis speaking. But how do I know? Well, in reality, these bass notes here, let me play the bass. So this is the bass line. Yeah. If you listen to recording very, very attentively, and if you know what to listen for, you will kind of hear them. But the question is, how did I know what to listen for? Well, first of all, this is not my very first Cliff Gallup's transcription, so I have something in my mind already. But then, most importantly, if you search, you can find it even here on YouTube, a rare live recording of Vincent playing Be-Bop-A-Lula, including Cliff Gallup himself, all the way from 1956, and that recording sounds genuine, so doesn't sound like a fake. And luckily for us, the guitar kind of dominates the mix on that recording, and we can clearly hear these notes. And in fact, Cliff doesn't play even notes, he kind of strums the whole chord, including even this dissonant third string, open third string, so he kind of strums the whole chord with his thumb. Let me try to reproduce that. Ah, that's hard. So that's what Cliff Gallup played live. However, on the recording, once you kind of know these notes, and once you listen specifically for them, you really can hear them. Otherwise the notes are well hidden in the mix. Needs also to remind that Cliff was using flat wounds, and flat wounds have not much highs, which means that once you play these notes on lower strings, and especially if you palm mute them a little bit, well, the sound is pretty much dull and is not cutting through the mix definitely. But okay, enough talking. Let's see what kind of chords did Cliff Gallup use here. The first chord is obvious, so imagine this well-known E7 here with the root on the 7th fret, 5th string, and now let's kind of get rid of pinky, because we will need pinky to fret this high B note on 1st string, 7th fret. So pretty much this is the chord, and once again, when playing live, Cliff was kind of not fretting it very properly, so you could even hear this dissonant open 3rd string. But then there is the second chord. Yes, this is really a chord, and if you can call it a chord, this is the chord. Yeah, let's rock! What's that? This is pretty much C. Well, you surely do know this conventional open G chord, and this variation of the same. Now, this C is absolutely the same chord, but just 5 frets up and without these bass notes. And if you once again listen attentively to the recording, you will realize that in the melody, the high part of this lick, it doesn't go like this. So here, Cliff doesn't play a single note, he actually plays a double stop. So that's how it sounds. And now let's try adding the bass line. Once again, bass line sounds like this, goes like this. Left hand. That's what our left hand will be doing. Now right hand, bass notes. So 5th, 5th, 6th, 5th, 5th, 4th together with 3rd, 5th, 5th, sliding all the way up and open 6. But that will be the next lick already. So now let's try to put it all together and play. And one more subtle but very important detail is Bigsby. Watch my pinky. Bigsby. Again. Now once again with left hand. And the next lick. And this is really, once again, Travis speaking, but once again the bass line is unusual, so normally you would play something like this. So alternating bass. While Cliff Gallup did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 6th, 4th, 4th, 4th. And the chord here, obviously a conventional E major chord on 12th fret, and we are adding this note on 14th fret, second string. And now the solo is moving to A chord. And first of all, what kind of chord do we play? Well, let's imagine this A7. This good old conventional A7, yeah, that's a little bit tight here at this part of the fretboard to fret everything properly. But you don't need to do that. You will need to use pinky to play some other notes on high notes on first string. So the melody will go like this. But now what about bass line and finger picking? Bass line is once again interesting. So right hand plays continuously 5th string. Just almost one single note, but the very first note will be not A fretted here on 5th string 12th fret, but low A on open 5th string. So it will go like this, I mean the bass line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now let's try to add the melody. Over to the right hand. And Bigsby on the last note. And while we are watching right hand, let's look what does right hand do in the next lick. So yes, we are kind of continuing Travis speaking, but instead of using our thumb to pick the bass notes, or bass note, one single bass note, here we are picking this kind of bass note on 3rd string. Now left hand. So everything is based once again around this simple A major chord on 12th fret. And now coming to the end. So what's this? Left hand once again. Nothing complicated. Right hand. So this note I intentionally pick not just 2nd string but also open 1st string. That's exactly what you can hear on the recording, and I push the Bigsby at the same time. And the next lick. 3 strings, 2 strings with upstroke of index finger, again 3 strings, and 2 strings with the same upstroke. And left hand. So this kind of triple stop, double stop, 14th fret, 12th fret. And we have yet one last lick. Once again you will be surprised, and we will come back to this lick after I play the whole solo start to end. But now the lick itself. Yeah, that's how it goes. So once again, this is the very same A major chord here on 12th fret. And now I'm going to move these 2 fingers 1 fret down. And my ring finger remains on 4th string, fretting this E. And right hand. So the lick itself. And I kind of don't know how many times does Cliff Gallup plays it, to be honest, because this lick kind of just is fading out and gets all the way down in the mix. Let's try the whole solo. But what about the last lick of the solo? I'm hear you saying, but that's not what we hear on the recording, so probably that's not what Cliff Gallup played. And well, I'm getting back to that rare recording feature in the real Cliff Gallup, playing Be-Bop-A-Lula all the way back in 1956. Once again, just try searching Google, YouTube, you will find it. It's easy to find. And on that recording you can hear that that's exactly what Cliff played. But now the question, where do all of these notes that we can hear on the recording come from? And here I need to remind you that Cliff actually was using slapback delay. While in reality Cliff wasn't using slapback delay, it was added by the sound engineer in the mix, and due to the way how they recorded it back in the days, he needed to operate guitar's volume, manipulate guitar's volume in real time during the recording, so that guitar gets louder when it's solo and gets quieter when Vincent starts singing. And I'm just guessing, but I have an impression that probably the sound guy operated actually 2 different faders on his mixing console. One fader was for the original guitar volume, and the second one probably was for the delayed signal. And that's why, kind of on many Vincent Cliff Gallup's recordings, you can hear that this delayed sound is, the volume of that delayed signal isn't consistent. So what we used to dial these days using mix knobs on our slapback delay pedals, well, gets kind of varied. And at that very moment, at the end of the second solo, probably the sound engineer messed it a little bit up. I'm just guessing here, don't get it wrong, but that's the only explanation I have in my mind. So before the final verse, he needed to get guitar all the way down in the mix, but forgot to do the same also for the delay fader. And that's how delayed signal became prominent and became much louder than the original guitar signal. And that's where all of those crazy notes, all of that, if I can say, all of that mess is coming from. Well, I have a slapback delay pedal here. I've tried to tune it up pretty much, hopefully pretty much like it was there on the recording in that moment. So let's give it a try. You can hear how loud the delayed signal is, and I believe that this delayed note rhythmically it was kind of a triplet, so the delay time was pretty much the same as duration of a triplet in Be-Bop-A-Lula's tempo. So I will need to play it once again to kind of to get the timing right. So these are triplets. Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my baby. So something like that, I believed, happened during the recording, and that's what we hear. Finally, let's briefly go through the parts that Cliff Gallup played during the verses while Vincent was singing. But first I will need to get back that slapback delay to its normal loudness. So the song is in the key of E, and I kind of apologize for my vocal skills. I'm not Vincent. Well, not Cliff Gallup either, but nevertheless. So 7th string, and we will be sliding from 7th fret, we will be sliding from 6th. Well, Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my baby. Open 6th string, Be-Bop-A-Lula, don't be maybe. Open 5th, Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my baby. Same slide but on 2 different strings, so this time it's 5th and 4th. The slide is going on 5th string. And open 1st. Be-Bop-A-Lula, don't be maybe. Now watch this chord. Be-Bop-A-Lula, she is my baby doll, my baby doll, baby doll. So this octave is a part of this chord shape, the same shape that Cliff was using in the beginning of the second solo. And watch what right hand is doing. So it's kind of triplet using thumb and index finger. Well, Cliff probably was using flat pick and middle finger. Now the verse. In the verse, we are just sliding, actually Cliff is just sliding from 5th string, 2nd fret to 7th fret. She's that girl in a gray blue jeans. I believe he might have been sliding the whole chord, so this is E6-9. And he was just doing like this. So sometimes you can hear the full chord, sometimes only the bass note. And I'm kind of doing some sort of palm muting. Cliff might not be doing the same because, once again, to remind you, he was using flat wound strings. so I have to palm mute so my round ones sound a little bit gloomier, duller, but Cliff was getting the same dull sound out of the box on his bass notes. She, the girl, gives me more. And now the refrain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One. Yeah. Hey. So that was the second refrain. Chords wise, it's all the same as in solos. So, sorry. That was A chord, then sliding up to E. At the same time, watch what my right hand is doing. 2, 3, 4, 1. Bigsby. Hey. Bigsby again. Hey. Hey. And then to the solo. Second verse. After the solo, she the girl that's got that beat. So these slides start from, I believe this is 10th, 9th fret. He's the girl that's got that beat. And once again, I'm palm muting, but I'm not sure Cliff was doing the same because, again, of flat ones. And then the refrain. She's the girl, gives me more. So what happens here is, first of all, chords. For A, we are playing these 3 notes. And this is a part of, obviously, this conventional A chord on 5th fret. For B, we play the same shape but 2 frets up. Then for E, again, this shape, the one that Cliff is using in the beginning of the second solo, and we are adding a couple of notes. While the same notes also apparently are present for the other chords. Hey! Slide. I'm doing it with my thumb. Maybe Cliff was fretting the whole chord. And that octave with a slide. Now right hand. Right hand is doing kind of Travis speaking. 2, 3, 4, 1. So thumb is working on 4th string. 2, 3, 4. And then thumb Gallup is moving to 5th string. Slide. What happens after the second solo is called nothing else but Travis speaking, good old conventional Travis speaking with alternating bass. So it's not uncommon that that the solo is kind of a culmination point of the song. So that's why right after the solo, instrumentalists often go down on volume, go down on picking intensity, down on everything, kind of to make a short break. And that's exactly what Cliff is doing after the second solo. He stays just on these 2 notes for some time. Well, Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my babe. And then moving to A. So the chord here is kind of this A without 5th string. First of all, Cliff slides up to into the bass note. Sorry. Right hand. And then the same chord shape slides up all the way into 12th fret. Same chord shape, same extra notes added to it. And moving to B, 7th fret, the very same chord shape. This time extra notes are added on 1st string. Right hand. Now moving the same shape to 5th fret, A chord, and adding B on 1st string, 7th fret. Right hand. And going back to E. My baby doll, my baby doll, my baby doll. Wap-dap-dum. The final chord, which is E6-9. So maybe I will try to play it once again from the beginning of that last verse. Well, Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my babe. Doll, my baby doll, my baby doll, ba-ba-bum. Finally, that was it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.